Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 15 October 2018, coming to you with a knife review. And no big mystery here. This one comes to us from Lon Humphrey Custom Knives. The model I think is rather interesting. It is a bird and trout in 440C with dark curly maple handles and black liners. A bird and trout knife from Lon Humphrey, king of the Brute de Forge style. That is a rather interesting combination, isn't it? Not only is it a dainty, delicate knife to be used for precision, fine cutting work on delicate game, it's in stainless steel. Not 1095, not 52100, but 440C. This ought to be interesting. So let's see what's inside the box. Inside the box, we have a poly bag that houses the sheath. We have a card thanking us for our business, Lon Humphrey Brute de Forge Facebook group, Lon Humphrey Custom Knives Facebook page, and then LonHumphreyCustomKnives.com. The back is blank. Then we have a blade protecting cardboard sheath and a bunch of tissue paper. Okay. Inside all that comes a really nice two-tone leather sheath, a nicely grained black inner panel, beautiful stitching, nicely welted, nice belt loop. Yeah, check it out. And inside the sheath comes this rather stunning piece of work from Mr. Humphrey. Oh, would you look at that? Kind of a muskrat clip shaped bird and trout knife from Lon. Let me come in a little bit on the focus for you. There we go. And right away, what grabbed me when I looked at this was the beauty of the overall design. Lots of visual tension between blade and handle. Exquisite proportions, I thought. Blade 3 5/8 inches in length, handle 4 1/8. Absolutely perfect for the hand in any grip you want to employ. Not such a great reverse grip knife with the shape of the horn, but guys, it's a bird and trout knife. Yeah. And then as I continued to look, some things kind of jumped out at me. Yes, it does have classic Lon Humphrey Brute de Forge styling. So, rough forged finish, high finish on the finished areas, okay? So the flats are going to show off that forged finish. That's the brute part of the knife. And then super fine finishing on the primary bevel grinds, and it's sort of a flat saber grind. And unbelievably exquisite finishing on the handle. The hafting is some of Lon's best work I've ever seen. The high polish continues right down the spine of the blade. Just beautiful. So he really did all the things right that he's famous for doing right. But then most of you know, who are aficionados of Lon's work, that sometimes each knife is a little bit different, and no different in the case of the bird and trout. But I just want you to look at the symmetry of this knife. Look where that primary bevel grind terminates from side to side. Very good work. Let's look down here. Let me come in a little bit. Look at the grind symmetry. Look how he has rounded the corners in the ricasso area just to make it easy on your fingers if you would happen to grasp it in that area. perfectly executed sharpening choil. Thickness behind the edge is very, very consistent, tip to hilt. About 33 to 35 thousandths, depending on where you measure it. It does thicken slightly approaching the tip. Because you know, guys, when we start to use this, we're going to realize that it's not just for dressing out small game. The Lon Humphrey Bird and Trout makes an exquisite EDC blade. So Lon has given us not 60 or 80 or 90 thousandths stock, but a full 5/32. I measured mine right up in this area, and it was 154 thousandths. And then sort of a lowish saber grind, come to a fairly skinny, but not super skinny dimension behind the edge. Some might say, well, that's too thick for a bird and trout knife, but it's a Lon Humphrey Bird and Trout. So it ain't going to be no wuss knife. Those of you who have been exposed to Lon in person know Lon doesn't do anything light and dainty. And of course his bird and trout knife will be no exception. I really foresee this knife being used by most of the guys who buy it in a decidedly EDC roll, and maybe even a heavy-duty EDC roll for a bird and trout knife. I was joking with Lon, texting back and forth before making the video. I said, maybe we should call this one the Turkey and Tarpon. But would it still excel in cleaning a dove or a quail or a trout? Yeah, I think it will. In fact, I know I made a note in my mind that the maker's edge on the bird and trout was probably the best I had seen in any Lon Humphrey knife up to this point. This is a piece of nice limp phone book paper. That's not my edge, guys. That's Lon's edge. That's pretty darn good. That's pretty doggone good. Now, hard for me to tell you what angle that's sharpened at, but just given the geometry of the blade, I'm thinking it's probably 22-ish. Notice that edge not overly broad, but the knife will certainly cut. And it's apparent that Lon really kind of stepped it up on this small knife from a fit and finish standpoint. Everything is dead smooth. As I said, the hafting is just gorgeous. Good symmetry. Everywhere you look, and oh. A lot of makers will tell you it's a lot harder to make a 3.5-inch EDC fixed blade knife look good than it is to make a 9-inch Bowie knife look good, because your mistakes, your inconsistencies are amplified in a platform this small. So Lon obviously took his time with this run of knives. So how much does an EDC size Lon Humphrey Bird and Trout in 440C with premium wood and some liners set you back? Well, it looks like on DLT Trading, I took a look at some stock that Jason has available, in like the close to 210, 211 for the least expensive ones, and then as you go up in wood quality, they get up into the mid 200s. But remember, guys, each knife forged individually by hand. That does not mean Lon's fist coming into contact with 2300 degree steel. I believe there's a big old power hammer involved. And then each knife hand ground, hand hafted, hand finished. I think it's a little stunner. Absolutely a stunner. So much so, I think I'm going to wear this right-handed sheath backwards on my left side and carry it around a few days. By the way, how does that sheath fit? You might want to know. About up to there. Just gives you enough handle and horn to get your middle finger around and extricate that knife. You could go lanyard on it too. I think it would make sense on this knife. What a smart little package that is, huh? Yeah. It really, really is. I think that's just a nice piece of work. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this video sort of in two parts. I'm going to, of course, even though it's sharp, I'm going to sharpen it. And I'll be able to give you a little more detailed information on the precision of those grinds, and we'll be able to see what kind of an edge this thing will really take. So, by the magic of television, you're not going to have to wait very long for this at all. Stay tuned, I'll be right back. Okay, guys, here's where we ended up. This is 20 degrees per side. Finished through 2300 on the stones, and then 2 microns and half a micron on the strops. You can see by the width of that secondary bevel that the blade does thicken just a bit at the tip. Took a pretty nice polish for 440C. Not known for its super keen edge taking ability, but pretty solid stainless steel. And here's where we ended up. And we could not push cut before, and we can now. Pretty doggone good. And as I said, the knife is just a little bit wedgy for a bird and trout, but still, with a proper edge, able to do some pretty good slicing work. And I would imagine, let's grab a chunk of wood here. I would imagine it'll carve. What do you think? Yep, it'll be fine. But you know, if you're the kind of a person that asks a lot out of his knife in EDC tasks, maybe likes to split some joints when cleaning your small game, this might be the bird and trout knife for you. And did I mention it's absolutely gorgeous? Oh yeah, it sure is. Great job, Lon. This will be a proud, if not huge, member of my Lon Humphrey collection, which I treasure. That's all for this one, guys. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the word in my Lon Humphrey bird and trout are sharp.